What's up, you guys? Chet-Guthrie, the Dream Poet here, coming to you all from a very overcasty day here in Walaska, Georgia. Or I should say it's kind of like a weird fog, mist kind of drizzle sort of deal. But anyway, you guys, in the continuation of Native American Heritage Month, I thought I would take you all to a very impressive museum that is here at the Reinhardt University here in Georgia, and that is the Funk Heritage Center. By the way, it's also on the Trail of Tears. Well, there's Cherokee right there. But this building right here, it is very much reminiscent of the Mississippian period, maybe even the Paleo-Indian period, and as well as the Cherokee. I believe there's about 20,000 years worth the artifacts in this one building, and it's very impressive. But one of the things that we will be checking out today that they have on display here is a giant petroglyph. Now, I don't know a whole lot about it. I don't know where it was found, although it was recommended to me by someone in the comments. So anyway, you guys, let's get to it. Let's go inside the Funk Heritage Center and let's go back in time 20,000 years, or maybe not so much 20,000 years, probably about 2,000-3,000 years. Let's head inside. Okay, now this is beautiful. It reminds me so much of the Sequoyah Birthplace Museum up in Von Nuur. See, I think that's the western band of the Cherokee Nation. I believe this is the eastern band of the Cherokee Nation, and that is the Seminoles. By the way, did y'all know that the Seminoles are one of the only Native American tribes that never signed a treaty with the U.S.? In fact, if you go to the Seminole Indian Reservation in Florida, they don't take too kindly to Americans. Here's some more stuff that is on display. Corn Mother, Arnold Richardson soapstone, a grinding stone made from an unknown maker. There is blue corn. I believe this is all art. Alright, you guys, before we check out the petroglyph, we're going to check the museum out. We're going to see what they have here. So let's do it. We are going to head inside the first exhibit that we are seeing here. And I believe this is an art gallery. Home at last. In the generations past, the word home meant so much more than just a house. It meant one's roots, spirit, earth, family. No people in this country understand the value of home more than Native Americans. Margaret and Clarence Rogers shared an appreciation of home and Native Americans. They showed this appreciation by collecting and promoting Native American art. The Rogers collection tells the compelling story of the first people to walk these lands. Donated by Mrs. Rogers, a lifelong educator, and collection includes many Cherokee artists, but also showcases artists from 30 other tribes. This current showing, a small portion of the 400-piece collection, provides an important cross-section of paintings, sculpture, pottery, baskets, and more. The Rogers had a dream to return the spirit of Native Americans to their former lands. With their magnificent collection of Permanently in Georgia, their friends are home at last. Interestingly enough, it is a giant collection of all Native American tribes. I'm guessing the educator here, she may have gone to Reinhardt University and taught here. That's about the only thing that I can think of, but that's just an assumption. Virginia Stroud, Teach Them Well. This is from the Cherokee, 1991. Ruth Jones, Stone Dance. This is from the Woodcut tribe in Delaware. Maybe that was more Algonquin. I think it's more Algonquin. Dorothy Sullivan, Turtle Say Let Women Dance. And this is from the Cherokee Nation. Kind of reminds me of, so I know there's a dance from the Cherokee Nation that is similar to, kind of similar to that that composure. White Buffalo Cow Dance. This is from the Acrylic on Paper, Tribe, Iowa. This was made in 1977. I'm kind of wondering maybe if they've got anything like Cherokee pottery or Cherokee bowls, just because that's my experience from when I worked with Charlie at the museum. Well, the Sequoyah Birthplace Museum. By the way, it's an awesome museum. I highly recommend it. I would go to it on Native American Heritage Month, but I went there a couple of years back. And this one is made in 1986, and this is from the Cherokee Nation. That is beautiful. That is a beautiful quilt work. I like how they have it covered in glass, which I can see why they would do something like that. Okay, and this is from the Broad tribe. Oh no, Creek, the Creek tribe. Creek were just north of the Cherokee lands. And this is the Great Cherokee Council of 1835. I'm thinking this is, I think that might either be Chief Ridge. No, that's not. It might be Ridge's house, Major Ridge's house. I'm thinking, or maybe that's Red Clay. Woody Crumbo, Spotted Wolf's Burial, signed. And this is Creek and Powatanani. That's a beautiful painting, though. Okay, and this is from the Cheyenne. And this is from the... Looks like it really doesn't say, but that is a beautiful painting of a Cherokee woman. Both these are from the Seminole, and this is from the Sequoyah. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And this is Robert Redbird, again from the Kiowa tribe. Okay, Cherokee. I like the sunset there. Oh, that's beautiful. Tall tales, tall trees from the Cherokee Nation. That is a beautiful painting. The Bocock. That's from the Choctaw. That's from the Cheyenne. Of course, least we not forget the Cherokee. Daughters of Solu. It's like a pregnant mother, and I'm guessing her daughter or son. This was made between 1999 and 2000. The Cherokee. Of course, I think that's probably... Oh, really? Seminole. I thought something like that would be more of a Western tribe, but no. No, it was painted by the Seminole. Interesting. That is Comanche. That is Kiowa, Comanche, Apache Fire Dance, Tribe Comanche. That's beautiful. Dennis, Matthew, Kiowa, Old Harris. That's from the Cheyenne. And this one is from the Comanche. Oh, heck yes. Cherokee stickball. You can rake somebody in the knees. You can hit them in the face trying to get the ball to the other end. It's a very interesting game. That is a really beautiful brass piece, though. Here's some more stuff from 1983. Looks like this is from the Arapaho, the Comanche, and the Seneca Iroquois Indians. And it looks like we have a beaded dance fan of the Kiowa Indian tribes. And that is a strip bag made of buckskin from 1900. And that one was made in 1860. And I really, really like this. This was made in 1990 by the Cheyenne tribe, or Charles Pratt, and it's Eagle Man. It's made of brass and turquoise. And that thing is absolutely gorgeous. Check that out. That man must have taken a lot of time to make that. Let's see, this is Buck YN, Blanket Indian, Colorado Pink Alabaster, the Spokane Indians. This was made by Ted Miller. Turquoise inlay, the Delaware tribe. And that is very, very interesting. And now this is a beautiful piece of artwork. Very incredible. That was very interesting. I'm not really so much into art and art museums, but that was really cool. So I think the next part we're gonna head to is the Trail of Tears exhibit here at the museum. Okay, looks like we've got some stamped pottery right here. And this kind of shows an idea, or shows a map of the Cherokee Nation, all the different places, and I think I'm trying to figure out where Tennessee. You see part of Virginia, North Carolina, and it kind of shows a map. But check this out. This is actually pretty interesting. If you all don't know where like the whole bucks thing comes from with money, it actually comes with deer hide. See, Cherokee would often make trades between I guess you'd say colonizers. Anyway, this kind of shows what they would trade for. 4 buckskins would get you a shirt. A gun would get you, well, that's a lot of bucks. That's about 30 bucks. So during the time, 30 bucks for a gun. And 1 for a knife. And of course for the axe, 4. So hickory log trading post. But yeah, that's where the whole buck term was coined. You trade a few bucks to get a few pieces of tools and other things. And here in this display case, these are some Cherokee baskets. And let me see, we've got, this was made by Diana Wolf in 1981. You see a lot of this stuff in Koala Boundary and Snowbird, and I'm trying to remember the other tribe that is out in western North Carolina. Davis Deering, Cherokee, and acculturation as a strategy. Well, acculturation is a very bad thing because acculturation kind of took a big dent in Cherokee culture. As the Cherokee became more Americanized, they lost a bit of themselves, which, I mean, that was 150 years ago. Which just goes to show the resiliency of the Cherokee Nation. And that is a Cherokee dummy. Sorry, that was not funny. Standing right next to a wolf spool. By the way, this also goes to show like how a lot of stuff was made. Just check that out. That is really interesting. And this one's really cool. These are the 7 clans of the Cherokee Nation. You have the Wild Potato Clan, the Bird Clan, the Blue Clan, the Deer Clan, the Long Hair Clan, the Wolf Clan, and the Paint Clan. Anyway, from what I understand, if I can remember, Sequoyah, his family, or his mother, was actually a part of the Paint Clan. And the Wolf Clan, that's usually where your war chiefs would reside, the ones who would kind of be your generals, what have you. And the Long Hair Clan was usually your political advisors, your peace chiefs, someone that kind of decides the fate. Well, I wouldn't say fate, but it's an interesting. Well, what does it do right here? But yeah, shows you what they mean. And here is a diorama of what the Cherokee courthouse looks like out west. This is when after the Trail of Tears, the Cherokee reestablished themselves in their community. And looks like end of the trail, Mrs. Weber's plantation disabandonment site. So I guess maybe one of these days we'll have to drive out to Oklahoma to see that. And this is interesting. This is Neochota, Georgia. We've been to Neochota. The first school in this area was Baptist Cherokee Mission Station, which is now downtown Canton. And I'm guessing that's where this stone comes from. There's no doubt that the acculturation policy was successful in many ways, but I think some Cherokee would say we adapted, picked, and worked, but retained some of our traditions. Those traditions are still being emphasized today in art and other cultural forms. I wonder what was right here at one time. Looks like wood. And now this is a pretty dirty is an understatement. But when the state of Georgia was doing their land lotteries with the Cherokees still living on their farmlands and whatnot, it was something similar to this lottery wheel right here. They would spin it. And anyway, from there, they would open it. And, well, whatever land you got in the area, and you know what? A lot of Cherokee were removed from their houses right where they were sitting when all this took place. And here is a map of the Trail of Tears. I have seen I grew up seeing this. You see, I mean, I grew up in Cleveland, and Cleveland, as you can tell, Bradley County was at the heart of the Cherokee Trail of Tears. You can see a lot of it went in North Georgia, then Athens, Fort Delaney, and it went all the way out west until everything was disbanded right here. Now, an interesting thing, and I agree with this opinion. Well, not opinion. I mean, I agree with what the Cherokee of today say. The Trail of Tears did not start at these different forts or these cities or what have you. It actually started at their front porch, because that's where they were taken from. And it was a very, very hard trip. About 4,000 people died, which didn't need to pass. And this is out in the lobby, but from what I'm guessing, this is a statue of Sequoyah. And did y'all know that Sequoyah in Cherokee means pig's foot? Yeah, a lot of people don't know, or at least I imagine a lot of people don't know that Sequoyah, he actually had a clubbed foot. I don't think many people know that. Of course, we've got the Cherokee syllabary, or some people as they'd call the Cherokee alphabet. Goes all the way down. Kind of explains how the Cherokee language is spoken. Actually, there's good reason why some of the letters look similar to English, is because when Sequoyah went and got his language, or when he got the written form of the Cherokee language started, they found it was cheaper to use different things off the printing press that were similar to English alphabet pieces. And that's kind of why some of them look that way, the way they do. And again, we've got another exhibit, or I should say display, dedicated to Cherokee stickball, or as translated by in Cherokee, the little brother of war. We've got drums. We've got a tomahawk, big giant shell, deer antlers, and now that's pretty cool. That's an arrow bag made from, I'm thinking that's, well, I'm not too sure what kind of tree that is. And I really like that here in the lobby they have a canoe hanging here from the ceiling. But right next to it, which I'd probably say is just as cool as the petroglyph, this is a canoe that was found sometime in the 1990s. And they believe that it is anywhere between 400 and 1,000 years old. It's really cool to think that still to this day, still like almost untouched, except for maybe a little bit of wear and tear. It's just so interesting. Looks like they've got some more artifacts, or I should say the display of an artifact right here. But for a more precise knowledge of the canoe, looks like it was found after Hurricane Hugo in September of 1989. There was substantial erosion of riverbanks due to flooding, and this canoe was probably revealed at that time and found in early 1990. And it is made out of cypress wood. Isn't that so cool? That is so cool to see that. I know I've already said it before, but that is just so awesome. Okay, now you guys, after seeing that, which by the way, that was really cool, we are heading into the Hall of the Ancients, where the giant petroglyph is. So let's head in there, let's check it out. Again, I love the work that is put into this museum. It is quite literally like walking back in time. You got the Paleo Indians, the Archaic Indians, Middle Archaic. So let's head inside. Oh, this is really interesting. Look how there's just a deer hiding there. This is river cane, and river cane was really important to early Native Americans. Also the Cherokee, they'd use them to make blowguns, what have you. And this is a really awesome recreation right here. But here is what we came to see. Here, just beneath the sunroof, right here, this is the Reinhardt petroglyph. You can see right there, there are the markings, and it goes all across this stone. Now, there's not really so much that is known about the culture behind these petroglyphs, but this stone right here was one of 3 sister stones. Early on, before this one was saved, the other 2 sister stones had been blown up by selfish people who thought that maybe at the time it had gold or some other artifacts in it, which wasn't the case. And just as a Walmart was being put in Canton, Georgia, this rock was pulled out and saved. And it's more than just a rock. Like, this is the beauty of Native American history, and it's like it is saved in here at this museum. And by the way, check this out. This is what a Creek Indian village would have looked like back in Georgia, back in the 1700s. So while you had your colonists, like your colonist neighbors up the way, this is what your neighborhood would look like. It's very interesting to see that the canoes are all there. That is really neat. So now that we have seen the petroglyph, let's explore the Hall of the Ancients. I really like the work that was put into this, the displays and whatnot. Looks like these are the different type of things that are dedicated to the Trail of Tears. Looks like this is kind of made out to look like a one of the forts that the Cherokee would have been taken in, and it was not a good time in history. I'll just say that much, where they were forced like cattle into these forts and these stockades, and just not a good time. I mean, we should remember what happened so that it can't happen again. And this is cool. This is a Cherokee Bible. Look how it's written in Cherokee and printed as a Bible. European invasion. Looks like, again, this is between 1540 and 1950. So kind of like turn of the 21st century. So, I mean, the average life between the Native American and people in the area, farmers and traders and whatnot, and farmers as well, they lived a pretty similar lifestyle. They lived in similar cabins. You know, they had cattle. You know, they hunted for deer, and so that kind of is a bit of the European invasion. But looks like this right here is the ancient farmers. This is from the Mississippian period. This is the mound builders. These are the people that constructed these giant, beautiful pieces of culture that stood like hundreds and hundreds of feet out of the ground. I mean, that is so cool to think, and it just kind of shows you how they lived. I mean, almost makes me feel like that's supposed to be the Etowah Mounds that we just recently visited. That is so cool. And this right here, this is, of course, how archaeology is done. And this is what some of the archaeologists have found from the time period. History log, history beneath our feet, mapping hickory log. This kind of shows the different houses and whatnot. And of course, here's the pottery that is found at that site. Or that was, well, I shouldn't say from the site. Looks like that was found in Cartersville. That was found, doesn't really say. But you have different tools and different things that are used to dig up these various different things to find these artifacts and preserve them. Like this trowel right here. That you can also use gold use that to find gold as well. It looks like this is the pottery makers. Looks like this is 1000 BC to 800 AD. So the woodland Indians, and it looks like in this display, it kind of shows what life was like. I guess it was during the winter. I mean, you can see how like they made their houses. You've got tan hides. With bark. I mean, the construction of those houses were very, very interesting. They're very intricate as well. And surprisingly, they held a lot of heat as well. And it looks like that statue right there is making something out of the shells. And this looks about like a half canoe. It's not totally a canoe, because it's only half a canoe, and it looks like there's some pottery and stuff and whatnot. And here is this house right here, the Cherokee cabin. I guess this is what you would kind of see in a Cherokee cabin. Kind of shows you Appalachian settlement, kind of things that you would see in a Cherokee house, like the different types of well, baskets and whatnot. And then you would also have arrowheads, of course, deer prints, deer bones, whatnot, some seashells, common trade during the time. And of course, you can't have stuff from this history or from this time period unless you have like the pelts, the deer pelts, wolf pelts, beaver pelts. I think that's thick beaver right there. Yeah, that's beaver. And of course, deer. And this one is the deer hunters. This is 8000 BC to 10,000 BC. So about 7,000 years how hunter and gatherers got their food, how they hunted deer. And looks like that right there is, gosh, I can't remember the American chestnut. American chestnut, a very important piece or a type of lumber that was used both by Native Americans and, well, Americans. A very popular wood, but sadly, because of the blight that has happened in the last 50 years or so, this tree is more or less extinct, well, functionally extinct. They only grow to be about seedlings, then they crack. There's a deer. Oh, my dear. And as I've walked around the entire Hall of Ancients, I'm kind of realizing that I did all this backwards. Because right there's the big game hunters, and that's about 12,000 BC to 8,000 BC. That's about 14,000 years ago. What early man saw way, way back when. Not really during Neanderthal times. That goes way, way back. But you kind of see what their life was like. It was a new world. Things were different. It was definitely a different time. He looked upon us as sophisticated children, smart but not wise. We knew many things, and much of that was false. He knew nature, which is always true. Saxton Pope, Ishi in Two Worlds. I think this is life along the Etowah, which actually we've been along the Etowah River. That's definitely Euro-American artifacts, kind of things that you would see from this time. You know, mussels, fish, the wares, you know, where they would get the fish, the agriculture. And of course, you know, we've also got the hoe. And actually looks like that is a dried up hatchet. And that is very interesting. You have gorgets and arrowheads. And this kind of shows in the Hall of the Ancients, because I did it backwards. My apologies. You had the Paleo-Indian, which was about 14,000 years ago. About 8,000, well, 10,000 years ago. 1,200 years ago. And of course, we get on, and of course, present time, the gun. How amazing is that? That is so cool that they have a petroglyph here. Petroglyph here. Now, here at the museum, they also have a tool room, but I know that's not really so much Native American. And because this is Native American Heritage Month, I figure, you know what? We'll save that exhibit for another day. But anyway, guys, remember, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Always means a lot. Goes to show that y'all care. Now y'all want to see more awesome videos. So without further ado, you guys, this vlog is over.